Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. You're here for that wasn't one that you got. Okay. You know what?
Welcome to the regular meeting of Bedford City Council for October 7th, 2024. If you would please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
Asbury?
Here.
Longino?
Here.
Cochee?
Here.
Spinks? Here. Salvi?
Here.
Council, you have the minutes of the work session of September 16th, 2024. Any corrections to that? Seeing none, can I have a motion for acceptance? By Asbury, second by Longino. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Abstain.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
And you have the minutes of the regular meeting of September 16th, 2024. Any corrections to those? Seeing none, can I have a motion for acceptance by Spinks, second by Fluharty? Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Abstain.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Then we have a couple of good presentations here. I thought everybody just came to see me, but we'll get on with the important stuff here. On Thursday, October 10th, is Pink Out Day, breast cancer awareness that the Bedford City Schools are sponsoring. And when I heard about it, we were at a Rotary meeting, and Jamie Cole, the schools there, she mentioned it, and I said, you know, we'd be happy to promote that. And so that's what we're going to do. And Jamie, if you would come forward. Over you go. Oh yeah, where everybody can see you. Not just this, but all the people up there.
Oh my gosh.
So we want to make a big deal, because this
Yeah, this is.
an important thing, breast cancer awareness, and I know it's touched our family and it's touched many families, and so I just want to read this, and we want to support what the schools are doing with this. Whereas the Bedford City School District is recognizing October 10th, 2024 as Pink Out Day, Breast Cancer Health and Awareness, in celebrating loved ones who are surviving and have passed on to breast cancer. And whereas Minority Women with Breast Cancer Uniting, Inc. is dedicated to providing education and support to minority women affected by breast cancer and promoting breast cancer awareness. And whereas MWBCU is a leading champion for minority women with breast cancer and their families, and it is a nonprofit organization that has been providing direct services to hundreds of breast cancer patients and survivors at different stages of their experience. And whereas the gathering place is to support education, empower individual and families currently coping with the impact of cancer in their lives through programs and services provided free of charge. And whereas the gathering place offers programs to children, teens, adults, and families. Now therefore, I, Stan Cochee, Mayor of the City of Bedford, on behalf of City Council, the citizens of Bedford, recognize October 10th, 2024 as Pink Out Day, Breast Cancer Health and Awareness.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you got about 2 hours.
Oh. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor Cochee. Thank you, Council. This is a big deal. Like Mayor Cochee said, I just mentioned it at a Rotary meeting, and without hesitation, he, suggested the collaboration. So it's so honored to represent the district in this, and it's a wonderful cause. We have some people from the Gathering Place. Do we have someone from the Gathering Place
So
here?
Michelle is the CEO.
Yeah, so we have CEO and
And then we have Ms. Blair. She is the co-founder of the Minority Women with Breast Cancer. And the reason why.
I want to also say, I want to recognize Tanisha Paul.
Oh.
She is a counselor in the district that, this is her idea, so. Okay.
Thank you, Dani.
It is.
However, these two organizations directly impact our district, okay? So, with Ms. Blair, my mother was a part of, a long-term member of Bedford City School District, Bedford Heights, and I'm a graduate of Bedford, and they were so instrumental with my family personally, with the support that they brought to my mother while we were at college, because that's when my mother was dealing with breast cancer, and eventually passed away. But without their organization, I mean, they were very, very instrumental in the support of my mother. Also, Ms. Simmons, she's not here, but she is a long-term retired teacher at Carrollwood, and she's a member of the organization as well. And then the gathering place, very special to my heart as well. I volunteer there as well. And Simone Swanson, she was a 2007 graduate. She was an employee there. And I was like, okay, we got a Bedford grad working there. I said, we got to support them as well. They provide free services through donations. So any kind of support, whether it's childcare, it's yoga, it's cooking courses, it's wigs, it's all kinds of things, health, healing arts. They provide a wide range of services free to anyone who is impacted, including a caregiver, a child. They reach out to the whole families as a whole, and they provide all the same services too. They help take people to appointments. One of their members were in my house, cleaning my house. It was that, like, they are that, like, instrumental in supporting families who have cancer. So this is the reason why we picked these two wonderful organizations to donate to, because they provide services and really are impactful with people in our community. People ask me, and I just want to say this last bit, I'm sorry, ask me why we don't do Susan G. Komen. And I said, they get millions, they get millions of dollars from everyone. These are organizations right here who impact people right here, you know, and I know what they do firsthand. So that's why I chose these two organizations to donate to. Thank you.
So, in addition to wearing pink on Thursday, if you would like to come up to any of the school buildings and the transportation department, and it's one. Maintenance department, or transportation department, and the Board of Education. We, and all of our 7 of our school buildings, you have a designated person that will take your donation. So wear pink and donate, please.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Switching gears here a little bit. It's always a pleasure to be able to help promote someone in our safety forces. And we're going to be looking at a new chief here in just a few minutes. It's always a good thing. And when you have a promotion for such a position as a chief, everybody gets involved. They all get excited. You get guys that you're going to have a chief. Now we're going to have a deputy chief, and then we're going to have a lieutenant, and then a sergeant. Hire a new patrolman. So people get excited. We open up a lot of avenues and help out a lot of young families, and just by one promotion. And the guy we're going to promote today has been on the department for a while. He's a good friend, and he's a good officer, and will certainly lead the department and carry on in the steps of former I say now, Marty Stemple, who has the retired shirt on. Chief, I want to thank you for your years of dedication. And enjoy that retirement.
Mr. Stemple.
Mr. Stemple. Here's a guy who doesn't like to be in the spotlight. But guess what? It's on now. Absolutely. Well, let's do this. I state your name.
I, Michael Stass,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and laws of the City of Bedford, Ohio,
the Charter and laws of the City of Bedford, Ohio,
and faithfully,
faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the position of Chief of Police
of the position of Chief of Police
for the City of Bedford, Ohio.
for the City of Bedford, Ohio.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
So this is my middle daughter.
Oh, hi.
Addison,
Who are
so
you?
she's gonna do the honors.
There you go. I'll send them to you.
Well, I understand there's a lot of business to be done today.
Take your time.
But I'd like to thank council and the city administration for this tremendous opportunity. I look forward to maintaining the strong reputation we have in the community and going forward. I thank my family, immediate and extended, for all coming out and supporting me. There's a lot. There's a lot. So we have my wife Heather, my son Cooper, my daughter Addison, my mother Cheryl, my sister Pam, my niece Ava, my brother Kevin, my nephew Carter, my in-laws Mike and Tori Mraz, my in-law great-grandfather Hank Sir, brother and sister-in-law Adam and April Stein. I got the Shaughnessy clan. I've pretty much filled this place up. So I do appreciate all their support and being out here today, as well as all my co-workers and former co-workers and friends that came out to support me. It really does mean a lot. And as much as I tried to dissuade people from coming out today, I'm honored to be standing up in front of all of you. So thank you very much, and have a good night. And we can all go back over to the police station.
We'll take 5 minutes, because I know this area is going to clear out.
You got more time, Mike.
I think they got cake there, we don't.
You done well.
Oh, well, I would have got you. Everybody jump ship, you call us. We're always looking. We're always looking. We don't have as much nonsense on that. Come on board anytime. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks.
If you ever need anything, don't hesitate. I can give you a card if you like. Yeah. Back for round 2. It's gonna drag her out.
I know they have business.
She likes us better.
We can call another time.
Come on.
only, being a former cop, he's probably going to get free cake, but. Also, I want to thank, we have a couple members of our Civil Service Commission here. Dell, where?
Del screwed up.
And Denise Wachowski. I always like to thank them guys on our boards that do this work for us, and the civil service does a great job. And you can see by the quality of the people that we get to be new members of the departments, and also the big people that they help to promote through their hard work. And again, I want to thank you for that. Good thing. Still taking pictures. Oh, there he is. He's back. I didn't see you sneak in. Okay, let's get on with business. Ordinance number 49-24.
Is an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with XL Excavating to demolish the structure located at 890 Broadway Avenue and declaring an emergency.
Can I have a motion for suspension by Spink, second by Fluharty? Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Asbury, second by Smith. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. City acquired this property early last year. It was a former Padala Foot Doctor building. We looked at possible ways to reuse and renovate the facility. It is in very, very poor condition. Ultimately, our recommendation to City Council is to demolish the property. We will regrade that appropriately, remove the half retaining wall, and then look for ways to enhance the green space and landscape the location.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Ordinance number 50-24.
Amending ordinance number 61-23 concerning section 913.02 entitled sewer rates of our laws and as related to, and declaring an emergency.
Can I have a motion for suspension by Longino, second by Smith? Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Yeah, it's our wish to put that on second reading. So, we'll get the wrong one here. So I need a motion to go to second reading by Spink, second by Fluharty. Yeah, we want to put it on second reading, and then we'll have third reading next meeting. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Reports, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. And just real quickly, just touching on that previous ordinance that pertained to the sewer rates. Following the city's no feasible alternative study, we are recommending a 10% increase in 2025 rates. That 10% equates to approximately $34 a year and $3 a month increase on the base rate for sewer bills. Although it doesn't completely balance out, I do want to remind everyone that the city did have a reduction in our water rates for 2025. This will increase our capacity, our borrowing capacity for large-scale infrastructure projects at the wastewater treatment facility, and show to the EPA that we're committed to moving forward with the improvements outlined in the no feasible alternative study. So just wanted to touch on that real quick. wanted to highlight something up here on the dais. There's some information from the Cleveland Metro Parks. They have identified a number of reservations that they're having plan study and open houses for. These go on through the 17th. They're outlined here. I think what's most exciting is one of the reservations that they were looking to update the plan and future projects for was the Bedford Reservation. Specifically, if you could see on that large board over there, Viaduct Park. If you recall, about a year ago, actually it might be 2 years ago, the city had donated with contingencies approximately 6 acres of property to the Bedford Reservation. And you could see on the board over there that they've identified and they're sharing their future plans, which will expand Viaduct Park. It will include a Four Seasons facility that will be reservable for the public. The city will have access to that up to 24 times a year. Expanded trails, great improvement over there. But if you get a chance, the mayor and members of our staff, Parks and Recreation, myself and Economic Development Director attended the first open house. A lot of good information, a lot of good public input. And if you can't attend any of the upcoming meetings, there's information on their website, the Cleveland Metro Parks website, where you can see all of the plans, even beyond Bedford Reservation. So I want to thank the park system for that. In regards to our tree grant that we had received from county planning, we do anticipate those trees to begin being planted throughout the community in the areas that I had previously shared with council on October 21st. On October 19th is the trick or treat event at the Parks and Recreation Department. You have to pre-register for that event, so please contact the Parks and Recreation Department at Ellenwood or visit our website for more information on that program. I also want to give them a quick shout out. They're bringing in a ton of money down there, and I know it's got Jen and our finance department going crazy with the grant dollars, but kudos to the staff. They were awarded an additional $20,000+, which was on top of approximately $120,000 that they received this year for senior programming, for meals, for transportation costs, and additional programming. So we're going to be using that to offset some of those expenses. We are also making some purchases and improvements down at the community center that's going to pay for 100%. So we talk about how efficient all of our staff is, but specifically that staff. I think we have 5 full-time employees down there, and they're doing a tremendous job. And you can also see at the corner up here as well, and many residents probably had already received it. It is our fall program guide offered through the Parks and Recreation Department with all of the programs, all of the activities taking place. This was mailed out to everyone in probably 2 weeks, but any visitors, feel free to grab that. Just outstanding stuff. Couldn't be more proud of what the work that they're doing down there. Also want to touch on our development department is working on a couple large-scale grants. One of them we'll be touching on here in a minute is through NOACA. That grant is due Wednesday. If you recall, the city was awarded a planning grant through NOACA to improve the connectivity to the Bedford Reservation, the historic district, even City Hall, the library. That planning grant was completed earlier this year, but the best part about it is once you complete that planning grant, you are now eligible to apply for implementation funds, construction funds. So we are submitting that grant application this week. It's going to be about a $500,000 grant that is going to connect the intended use, and that came from the planning study. We'll be connecting the Bedford Reservation, Viaduct Park. That trail will go all the way down Willis, connecting to Bedford Commons and the area identified for the expansion, which will begin later this year. Lastly on the list, I just want to take a minute and congratulate Lieutenant Brian Harding in the fire department. Like Chief Stemple, Chief Nagy is going to be retiring in January, and we've went through the process. Lieutenant Harding was identified to become the new chief of Bedford Fire in January when Chief Nagy retires, and well-deserved. Lieutenant Harding is an outstanding individual, not going to miss a beat. He's going to fill right in, and obviously that swearing in will be beginning of next year. End of report.
Thank you. Finance, Mrs. Howland. What, huh?
I have no report other than to congratulate Mike Stask and Lieutenant Harding and wish Chief Stemple the best luck in his retirement. Go try.
Yeah, well, they went. Now, Ms. Howland.
Ms. Howland, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to congratulate new Police Chief Mike Stass for his promotion and new position, and wish him well and look forward to working with him.
Thank you. Council, Mr. Fluharty.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to Mr. Sask for becoming our new police chief. Also, last week for chipper service, Mike said that if you put something out on front, even though you might not have called in, they're going to pick up within the area anyhow, but I wouldn't hurt to call just to make sure. But this is the last week, so if you don't get it out, it's good till, you can't put it out till next spring. So I advise everybody to get their stuff out there if they have any. I know there's a little bit left from that storm still. Mike, I haven't heard anything, what the speed bumps, are they in?
I believe they're coming in either this week or next week. They're expected to be delivered.
How soon can we put those up?
Hopefully soon.
Because I got a place for them, and I want to make sure. I knew they were coming, and all these other cities got them, and they're doing their job.
They were like 6 to 8 weeks out delivery, so we're touching on that 8
Good.
weeks.
All right, that's it for me, end of report.
Thank you. Mr. Smith.
Good evening. First, I would like to congratulate newly sworn and Chief Mike Stask, and also wish Chief Stemple a happy and safe retirement. I saw him the other day when he was leaving for his last day. He told me, "You bet I am. I'm going to get out of here." At 4 o'clock, he was gone. He did not waste any time. He ran out the door. So, he didn't even stay to say hello to Mike. Mike was out of town. He's gone. Secondly, Mike mentioned our rec employees. Our rec employees are doing a great job. If you don't know anything about our programs here in the city of Bedford, our programs outdo any city in the surrounding area. They cannot touch what Bedford is doing. And I think it's a testament to what our employees are doing down there at the rec center. If you have not been down to our rec center, check it out. I know that our seniors, they enjoy it. Every Wednesday they have a senior luncheon. It's great. Okay. They remodeled the building, working on the upstairs or whatever now, so it's going to be improved even more. Turney Road is finally done. But please, please, please slow down. I walk every morning. Actually, I walk my whole work, 5 miles a day. So I see people flying by me. Not just people coming through on their way to work, but I've seen some city people or some school people that come through also, just speeding. And we have to slow that down. I've talked to Mike and told him that we need to set up something, some type of speed radar or something on that road, because it's a newly finished street and it's smooth. So you know what people do, and especially down in that dip. That dip is very dangerous at a high speed. I don't want to see anyone get killed here in our city. Even if you don't live in our city, if you hear this, if someone can just give it to you, just know, do not speed through Bedford, because eventually you will be ticketed. I'd like to say also that here in Bedford, we're steady trying to grow. We welcome any and all business into our city. If you fit the city, we welcome you. we do not discriminate against anyone. I'm saying that for myself, and for the council. We look at you just like, we don't have to know you, we don't have to know where you came from. But if you come in and you present it right, and you look good to us, we will be granted the opportunity to function here in our city. In the report.
Thank you. Mr. Asbury.
Thank you, Mayor. Echo everybody else's sentiments. Congratulations, Chief Stemple, on your retirement. May it be a very long and healthy retirement. Congratulations to Chief Stask, our new police chief. I know he's going to do a fantastic job. And congratulations to Lieutenant, now new Chief Brian Harding. I guess Task Force 1 might be a little upset that he's not going to be with them anymore, but another fantastic choice. Speaking of Attorney Road, we're glad it's finally done, looks good. Mike, I know there was some time overage there, and we're trying to recoup. Trying to get some little bit of restitution back from them because they did go over our time frame. As far as the residents near Glendale School on West Glendale, don't think that we've forgotten about you. I got a couple calls from residents where drop off or dismissal, picking up the children, is on one side of the street. There's people parking on the other side of the street also, which shouldn't be allowed. Makes for a pretty gnarly traffic situation over there when people are trying to get by that don't have children to pick up. I know it's been a couple weeks. We are working on it. We didn't forget about you. You may see me out there Wednesday after school. So more to follow and a report.
Thank you. Mr. Longino.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I wanted to say every time we do something with the police department or the fire department, that makes me miss my days on the Civil Service Commission that much more. So once again, congratulations, like everyone has said, to our new chief and new lieutenants and all the way up the ranks. Happy to see one of my favorite neighbors and constituents, Miss Sarah, here. I also wanted to talk about breast cancer awareness. I got a new tie. I hope it shows real good up on it. So I did bring that out because, like a lot of us, breast cancer has hit home. So we all have been touched by it. And so I definitely want to acknowledge that. And like I said, so I went out and got a brand new tie just for this occasion. I want to talk about what we did, I think it was last Friday? Yeah, last Friday, when we honored our fallen local hero, Sergeant Ryder from Korean War, yes, his remains were identified. We talked about that, and it was outstanding. I know a couple, like the mayor couldn't make it, Vic couldn't make it, but we were there. The rest of us that were there that could support it, that we were there, and it was great. The family loved the fact that we were there and we lined the streets up, and Mr. Rogers left out of here. He's a Marine. I wanted to make sure that he let him know that it was a fallen Marine that we honored. But we did honor him, and it was great. The tribe lost 3-0, by the way, if you didn't know that. Everybody probably know that by now. I wanted to talk something, too, about speeders. I know that Frank talked about it. As I walk my zones, too, I try to always meet somebody. Mid-zone, I'm still thinking like I'm a cop. My ward, okay, my ward. When I'm walking my ward, I always try to meet somebody on the street, you know. And it was good because one time I was walking down the street, and I was on the phone with Sandy, and I'm talking. She said, "Yeah, that's what you do, Tony. Make sure you do that." But I don't think I ever had a problem with targeting anybody, so she didn't have to tell me that. So as I'm meeting these different people, and I tell them, "Hey, I'm the person that if there's some issues, not saying I'm always ready to fix them, but what issues?" And it's always speed. And the craziest part, that Sandy was at my house yesterday, and cars coming down the street flying. She said, "Look at that." And I said, "I deal with it too." You know, and though I asked her a question that I was going to take the mic, but she helped me with it because I was going to bring it to Mike and say, when I get out there, Mike, I'm going to talk about this. Tell me, am I right or wrong when I do this? Everybody thinks you just don't speed bumps on the street. You know, and my logic was, well, they're not really meant for streets. They're meant for parking lots and things like that to slow down, because if somebody's still going the right speed limit, it's going to stop them from even going the speed limit they're supposed to go. But Sandy hit me with something that I didn't know because being new to this and not even thinking about it. She talked about if you put those speed bumps out on regular streets, they're not gonna be, the snow plows are gonna have issues. And I never even thought about that because they have to go down so far and they would have to get removed. So you can't do that because of the fact that, snow plows. So when everybody think the easiest way to get around these speeders is just to put speed bumps out there, and then the guy said something about the cameras. I said, okay, the cameras, or these are the signs that say how fast you're going. I said, some people that might make them go, let's see how fast I can go to see what speed I can get up to. So sometimes that might not help. And then I looked at it like this. I said, people that are gonna speed, 90% of the time, are gonna speed, regardless. I mean, they know the speed limit. It's just like when you look on the highway and they have those different signs that say, slow down during bad weather. Well, if you're gonna speed, if somebody needs to tell you to slow down during bad weather, there's an issue. So I just wanted to, hit that the biggest problems I've had, the most issues I've had with people have been talking to me about speed. And like I said, I wish it could help. I wish we could fix it. I wish we could sit a car out there, but we can't sit a car on every street and slow people down, because once the car is gone, they're gonna speed again. And this is as a cop who've had to sit on streets many a time when people complain about speeders back in my day when I was a road cop. But that's it, so I yield my time.
Thank you. Mrs. Spinks.
Happy retirement to our chief, Stipples. I know he's going to enjoy it. And also congratulations to our new chief, Stask. Another Mike, so we will call him Stask. We've got so many Mikes now. We've got way too many. We have nicknames for all of them. I just want to thank the mayor for making October 10th Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I just have a little pink ribbon. And thanks my partner down there for going out, and real men do wear pink. Talking about that, we always, when we think of breast cancer, we always think women. It always affects women. Sometimes older women, different age stuff, and I'm working very diligently with several different groups, even with the county, to make awareness that breast cancer is not choosy. It also is affecting more and more men, young men, older men. My husband's doctor had breast cancer. My one youngest son had a scare, and his dad had breast cancer. So it does affect women more, but it is affecting, and they can also, they're doing studies that that the sons can carry the gene, just like my grandmother had it, my mother had it, I had a sister who had ovarian. I was lucky, did not carry the gene. I did have breast cancer, and you breasts, but all I get personal, go all the way under your arms. So you need to check there too. So men and women need to constantly check, because I had a tumor come up under my arm, and they took care of it. And so awareness, again, is very, very important, even starting young kids, and I'm so glad they're doing a lot of things that go on in our school. People don't see behind the scenes. I do. I'm there quite a bit, and I'm getting ready to go back. So excited to go back to Central School and doing Kids Hope. So I'll be there mentoring, I don't know who, but coming up soon. So I'm excited about that. Now on to, let's see, exciting coming up this Friday, on Friday, October 11th, speaker series at the Bedford Historical Society in the old church basement at 7 o'clock is going to be How Superman Got Started. It's very interesting. A lot of our speaker series, which are, we get a grant through the Cuyahoga Arts and Culture board for those speaker series. They don't cost you anything. We do graciously take donations. So if you come, please, like I said, get there early. We have a feeling that this is going to fill up really, really quick. Speaking of Denise in the back, thank you so much. She contacted me yesterday to let me know that on her street, her dad's street, there was a rather large hornet's nest. And for some reason, little kids like to think that it'd be real fun to throw rocks or do things. They don't realize. So if you see something like that, please report it. And yes, it is still filled. There was hornets buzzing around. Thanks for bringing that to my attention, because I do a ward check every day Used to walk it, now drive it, because it's got a little bit bigger. But I'm looking at people's yards, I'm looking for kids and stuff like that. I'm not looking up, so thanks for, because I missed it when I can't believe I missed it, but I did. But thanks for calling in. Mike, you said, did y'all contact? Okay. So did they go out there yet, or?
I'm not sure about that yet.
Okay, okay. And tonight, we're gonna be talking about on Greencroft, to get ready for the culvert and stuff. I had spoke to Mike in the back, because I had a couple of residents in the Greencroft area that had asked me, there was trees that were cut down right where the culvert's gonna be replaced, that the fence is actually growing right into the trees. They cut off the top. I asked Mike if they're gonna if they're gonna turn that, or redo that fence, because a couple of residents, he's gonna get back to me on some information on that. And he will be, when they get ready to do the culverts, there will be notices going out. They have removed the trees on things. That's gonna be the route that some of the people will be taking. But they still can't, people are worried that they're gonna, you drive over that curb right now, you're gonna mess up your car. So if you residents were concerned, it will be immediately put back when they're done with the culverts. So, like I said, more information to come on that. And let's see, that's it in the report.
Mr. Selby.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. I will begin by personally congratulating our new police chief, Mike Stask, and give my well wishes to retiring police chief Stemple. Winston Churchill once said, "Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen." One of the most important things you can do to be an effective police chief is listen to the concerns of city residents. I'm eager to see how you will amaze us as police chief and help make Bedford the safest city in Cuyahoga County. Congratulations to him. Early congratulations to Lieutenant Brian Harding, who was recently selected to be Bedford's next fire chief when Chief Nagy retires in January 2025. Sergeant John Paul Ryder, killed in action, Korean conflict. The weekend, Sergeant John Paul Ryder's remains were interred in Bedford Cemetery. I was in Washington, D.C., attending the National Security Conference. Since I was unable to attend Sergeant Ryder's funeral in Bedford, I arranged to have Sergeant Ryder honored at Arlington National Cemetery. Thank you to the members of the U.S. military who participated in honoring Sergeant Ryder on Arlington's hallowed grounds. And this is something I'm going to give to the family. I had a picture taken of the military saluting him. And they were happy to do it. Visits to residents. Since the September 16th ward report, we visited residents in the ward and responded to a number of resident concerns in person and by phone call. Thank you to the city personnel who helped resolve or are in the process of resolving these issues. Ward 2 residents can reach me by calling my home phone number 440-232-8964. Fire hydrant painting and flushing. Thanks to city personnel for flushing and painting Ward 2 fire hydrants recently. Flushing hydrants help keep your water safe, allows the fire department test the fire flow capacity in case of house fires, and is important preventative maintenance. Flushing hydrants remove sediment and rust from the water, maintains the appropriate chlorine concentration, and serves as a check that the hydrant is operating properly. A Ward 2 resident recently asked that I request the city to put a new coat of paint on the paint-worn hydrants in the neighborhood. After contacting the city manager, I was pleased to see so many new shiny red painted fire hydrants in the ward. If these had already been scheduled for painting or not, local residents and I appreciate the aesthetic improvements to Ward 2 streetscapes. Fire hydrant moved. Residents who were wondering why High Street between Taft and Columbus was blocked recently with construction barrels and signs, a fire hydrant was removed. The street is now open and remaining construction barrels will be removed as soon as the road surface is repaired where the excavation took place. Taft Park. My daily monitoring Taft Park continues. Since my last report, I only found one trespasser during the times I visited the park at night after closing time. I asked police dispatch to send an officer to investigate. A daytime park visit found 6 to 8 teens of 20-something age gathered around the picnic table under the wood pavilion. There was a strong smell of marijuana in the air, but any product was not visible by the time I approached the pavilion. I engaged the group in friendly conversation, calmly informed them I was a local councilman, and I monitored the park to keep it family friendly. I left the group without incident. Last week I was informed by a resident that there were several women causing disturbance at the park at 1:30 a.m. Friday, September 20th. The women were allegedly screaming so loudly at each other that they woke up residents who called the police department. The resident was unsure if the women were cited for disturbing the peace or being in the park after dark. Mike, do you know if officers cited any of those persons involved in this?
I'd have to check the report again, but I can check it in the morning.
Thank you. As a result of this late night disturbance last weekend, I made multiple night visits to the park to make sure last weekend's disturbance was not repeated. I happily found no trespassers. I know other residents are concerned about activity at the park, that they are afraid to speak up. Fear is not your friend. It will make you a prisoner of your own mind and home. Speak up and enjoy a better quality of life. Take advantage of my willingness to do what it takes to make Bedford one of the safest cities in Ohio, as it once was. Homeless issue response. Some of you are aware I've been working on addressing the increasing problem of vagrants and homeless people more frequently seen around Bedford. The goal is to develop a viable procedure in which city staff, such as the Bedford Police Department officers, can contact an organization by phone to engage homeless individuals to offer temporary housing and other needed services so they are no longer living illegally on private property or public parks in Bedford. Ideally, this assistance would help them get on a better life path and return to a normal and productive home life. I have been working with local professional counselor Heidi Simiholitz, who's here today. She's a professional counselor volunteer who has been researching Carter County-based nonprofits that provide services for homeless individuals. She has since met with staff of at least one organization for their assistance. I believe she will speak about the progress that has been made during the hearing of citizens part of today's council agenda. Commercial properties issues in Ward 2. The Samuel Marcus Trust commercial property parcel 506 Northfield Road, that are known as Bay Market. I stopped at this commercial strip center yesterday to see if the tenant or successor trustee of the Samuel Marcus Trust had complied with any of the alleged list of city ordinance violations. I'm not sure if they finally removed the dead bird and fly carcasses in the storefront window or just covered them up. I recently photographed the many horrendous conditions of the property. There was an updated Carter County Health Department notice and order sealed to the front door, warning not to open without the permission of the health department, and the city approves an occupancy permit. Those who approve occupancy permits for the city of Bedford should be extremely cautious in considering the approval of any occupancy permit at this address or any other in the city to an individual or individuals who have already demonstrated a total lack of concern or interest in operating a business within the law and failing to make timely corrections despite having many months, if not years, to do so. I believe it is very important to eliminate this eyesore and others in the city by strictly enforcing Bedford ordinances as they apply to the Samuel Marcus Trust successor trustee, who acts as the commercial landlord, and the individual tenants allegedly responsible for not lawfully maintaining public health and safety standards and violating a number of city ordinances. Zach's Supercenter at Meadowbrook, the corner of Rockside and Northfield Roads. I was contacted by the owner of Zach's for assistance in finding out what, if any, permits Zach's or Universal Circus would need to obtain to have the circus set up and open sometime in October. Since then, I have spoken with City Manager Malice and encouraged both Zach's owner and the operators of Universal Circus to work with the city administration to ensure that the event would be in compliance with city and state laws, as well as sufficient security to ensure public safety. Mike, is there anything you'd like to add?
Just that we have been in communication with them. They are proposing a number of dates. One of the concerns that we had is just the amount of short notice. You know, we've only received 3 weeks' notice. They're requesting Bedford PD staff this event on off-duty shifts. Unfortunately, you know, in all police departments, when you post off-duty work, this is done months in advance. And I had shared with them this morning that even if we posted that today, it is highly unlikely that they're going to get officers to fill that because they already have their off-duty schedule filled. So I did raise some concerns there, and I also raised some concerns regarding the City of Bedford's ordinance in regards to tax admissions. We do have an ordinance on the books where they're required to pay tax admissions. There was an issue the last time they were here, given the short notice, and prior to any permit being approved, they were selling tickets online, and then you can't go back after the fact to collect the tax. And I believe that's kind of what's transpiring now. So our concern is just trying to rush something. We got to make sure that all the boxes are checked, and I think the most important box that needs to be checked is that it's safety and it's secure. What is the plan for a fire watch? What is the plan for the tent structure? All of those need to be addressed before you're advertising and selling tickets. So as of right now, that application is not approved. And I imagine there'll be further discussions with those organizers throughout this week.
Thank you. Ohio Department of Youth Services. Some of you know the Bedford Planning Commission approved the application submitted for the State of Ohio juvenile facility to be placed in Bedford. And this is a very difficult issue for me, and but I will be following our attorney's recommendation in terms of how to vote on this ordinance. And I hope the best, it works out good, and I see we have some representatives of the state with us today. So do good by our city, please. Thank you. And the report.
Mr. Fu, well, we started with
I'm tired now.
Steve, I tell you, I talked to a family member of the Bay Market there, and father is, the owner is out of the country taking care of his sick mother. So things got set back a little bit because of that. The building department's aware, they've been issued citations, and when he gets back, that'll be taken care of. Okay. New business. First motion.
All right, can we get a motion to accept the planning commission's decision to deny Bloom Behavioral Health to open a behavioral health counseling office in the historic district located at 15 North Park Street, Bedford, Ohio 44146, considering the parking requirements dictated by ordinance section 1957.05 regarding medical uses?
To reiterate, a yes vote means you agree with the planning commission to deny. No vote means you don't agree with them.
Can we get a motion to that effect?
A motion from Asbury, second by Longino. Call the roll.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
No.
Longino?
Abstain.
Cochi?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi,
Yes.
Wait. We're voting on,
Yes vote means you support the planning commission's
Yes
decision.
vote, yeah. Did I say yes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Did you skip Nick there, or did they vote?
you
I voted.
Okay, that's good. Alrighty, so you voted to uphold the planning commission's decision's denial. What was it, six with one abstention.
Okay. Next motion. Motion B.
Motion B is a motion to accept the planning,
5 to 1.
all right, whatever it was. Okay, can I, get a motion to accept the planning commission's decision to allow the Ohio Department of Youth Services application to relocate its juvenile correction center to 17500 Rockside Road, Bedford, Ohio, on the condition that no new construction would exceed 1 story, that the state will work with the city to establish a buffer where the parties feel it's necessary, that the number of juveniles is restricted to 72, and that the state provide quarterly updates to the city regarding what those numbers are, on the grounds that such use will not be a public nuisance nor one that would affect the public peace, health, safety, morals, or welfare. Can I get a motion to that effect?
Motion by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
yes.
Longino,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Salvi,
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution number 2622.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to submit an application to the Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordination Agency, otherwise known as NOACA, for funding through the Transportation for Livable Communities Initiative and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension by Longino, second by Asbury. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Longino,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Salvi.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Fluharty, second by Spinks. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. As I mentioned before, when I was discussing the park improvements following our TLCI planning study, this is an ordinance authorizing us to submit that application to NOACA. The application is for approximately $500,000 and will allow us to implement a pedestrian, bike, and walking trail approximately 10 feet wide from Commons down to Viaduct Park in the Bedford Reservation. It'll be on the, forgive me, I don't know if I'm directionally challenged, what would that be, the east side of the street? Thank you, Councilman. The east side of the street where there is currently no public walk.
Call the roll, please.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Longino,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Salvi.
Yes.
Ordinance number 53-24.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with KTS Equipment, Inc. for the purchase of the Brush Bandit Model 15 XP for the service department and declaring an emergency.
A motion for suspension, Asbury, second by Smith. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Longino,
Yes.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Salvi.
Yes.
Motion for third and final, Fluharty, second by Spinks. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This new chipper, the service department has proposed acquiring a new chipper to replace the current piece of equipment, which is a 2007. We have, over the last 2 years, we've removed this item from the budget for financial reasons. This year, we were able to sell an old piece of equipment and received approximately $50,000. We've also had a number of unspent funds in our current budget that when combining them, we'll be able to make this purchase of a new piece of equipment in this year's budget and not have to propose it for next year. We did receive 2 quotes. KTS is the lower of the 2 at $66,016.50. The next closest was $72,300. Our recommendation is to make this purchase, allow us to purchase it through, out of this year's budget. The equipment is used on a daily basis almost.
Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Ordinance number 54-24.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to accept a grant award and to enter into a contract with Game Time for park improvements in the city of Bedford and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension by Fluharty, second by Spinks. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Motion for third and final. Asbury, second by Smith. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. Parks and Recreation staff performed a park assessment at all of our parks throughout the city. We identified 3 primary parks that are in need of enhancement, those being the skate park, Greencroft Park, and Taft Park. In looking at skate park and Greencroft, there's a substantial amount of earthwork that'll need to be completed before we can move forward with replacing structures. Taft Park, we are able to make those improvements based on what we currently have budgeted for in 2024. City Council authorized $75,000 in this year's budget for park improvements, and our staff was able to get a matching grant through Game Time, which is part of the Omnia State purchase price. And that is they're matching 50% of the cost of a new structure. So a project that would typically cost about $160,000 is going to cost the city $83,900. We will be using $75,000 that we did budget for, and the remaining approximately the remaining $8,000 will be funds out of Park and Recreation budget.
About time. Only asked for how many years for that?
That structure is pre-me, so before 1997, 98.
My kids played on it. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
And just so everybody knows, I asked if we can get the tank back to Taft Park, and I was told no, but I vote yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Ordinance number 55-24.
Amending ordinance number 08123, making additional appropriations for current expenditures of the city during the year 2024 and declaring an emergency.
I have a motion for suspension. Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Smith, second by Asbury. Jen?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this is our third appropriation ordinance this year to make adjustments due to, mainly due to grants and previous approved ordinances for different items. Grants funds that we received for our Seal Narcotics Fund, in our Law Enforcement Trust Fund, and our grants fund for recreation, the Healthy Aging Grant that Mike mentioned earlier tonight. Service Department, the Urban Tree Grant that was awarded this year, we need to appropriate to spend those funds. Appropriate the funds for the speed tables that are on their way here, and for the emergency sanitary sewer repairs that were approved at the last meeting.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Ordinance number 56-24.
There's an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a community cost share agreement with the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District for the community cost share storm sewer equipment purchase and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension. Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Asbury, second by Longino. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. There are a couple of streets located in our town that are part of the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District. As such, we get a portion, a small portion of their cost sharing or funds that we can use for different programs and equipment. We're looking to utilize these funds to purchase 2 pieces of equipment, a camera and a cutter, that will help clear out some of the lines as we need.
Thank you. Call a roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Ordinance number 57-24.
2 more to go, guys, almost done. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Mr. Excavator, Inc. for the Greencroft Road Culvert Replacement Project and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Smith, second by Asbury. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This award is in relation to the Greencroft Culvert Project. The city did perform a bid opening a couple of weeks ago. We received 7 bids, ranging from Mr. Excavator, who was the lowest at $361,000 and change, and the highest bid came in at $611,000 and change. Our recommendation is to contract with Mr. Excavator. We've worked with them in the past on a number of different projects. They're very capable of performing the work. We expect this work to be completed within 45 days. If council approves it this evening, we'll work to schedule a pre-construction meeting, at which point we can identify a start date for the project. We do have notices ready to go out to all of the residents in the area, as Greencroft will be required to be closed, and we will be rerouting traffic by reopening a portion of Thames, as the councilwoman had mentioned. Our goal is to get this done as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
And the last one. Ordinance number 58-24.
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Assured Partners Ohio LLC, who is the city's broker for cyber risk liability insurance, and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension by Asbury, second by Smith. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Fluharty, second by Spinks. Mike? Or Jennifer, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mayor, I have this. We just received our renewal quote for our cyber risk liability insurance. This policy goes into effect on November 1st, and last year we spent, well, the amount approved last year was $31,638. During the year, I was able to negotiate a decreased pricing and increased coverage, making that cost $25,148, and now this renewal is even lower at $23,569. This coverage is important in case that ever happens, that we are under some sort of cyber attack of some sort, so.
Thank
I think that's this thing, thank you.
Good job on that. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.
Now we come to the portion of the meeting, hearing of citizens. If you wish to speak, please come forward, state your name, your address, and your comment.
Heidi Semialis, I'm at 958 Archer Road in Bedford, Steve Salvy's ward. We kind of discussed.
Oh, could you get up to the mic so we can hear it? Oh, no, yeah. Just pull it down. There you go.
We kind of discussed the issue of unhoused or homeless people in the city of Bedford. So Steve asked me to look into what would be helpful. So I called Kaya Sag is the person who is the street outreach coordinator with Northeast Ohio Coalition of the Homeless. And so she returned my call, and the short answer is there's no sweet and short fix for this. It's going to require patience and compassion, empathy for that person's situation. These folks have lost everything, and it may not be their fault. Devastating loss can happen to anyone. Job loss, addiction, foreclosure, physical or mental illness, addiction, alcoholism, gambling, being scammed out of a person's life savings, domestic violence, abuse of any sort, being an LBGT youth who left their family or was forced to, natural or man-made disasters, calamities, having no insurance, no family or friends as a safety net, release from a hospital, prison, or jail, and nowhere to go. I wonder what any of us would do with these types of situations. A lot of us have safety nets. My closest family is 500 miles away. The next closest is 1,500 miles away, and the other two are 4,000 in two different directions. So I really count on neighbors and friends and their families to help me if there's any time of need. So Northeast Ohio Coalition for the Homeless has a street outreach team that will come to the location indicated in the call to them. Her advice was just leave the person where they are so they can find them. And if it's after hours, then we'll address it the next day. But if or you can ask the person where they will be the next day so they can locate them. And they would be the ones to address what the person needs. I do have some gifts for you all, and then I'll finish up. I'd like you each to take two, one to keep and one to give.
Thank you for doing this. Thank you.
So she said either identifying landmarks or an address, cross streets, so they're able to find the person. I'm also trauma trained. I'm a licensed professional counselor at Applewood Centers, and I have continuous trauma training because that's the majority of our clients. The trainings, Northeast Ohio Coalition for the Homeless has street outreach trainings. The trainings are currently full due to them working with Cleveland Police to train the officers, so they're more aware of trauma and best practices and procedures to help the unhoused. I will take that training as soon as it's available. And I think it would be wonderful and beneficial if more police, first responders, and civic leaders, as well as other citizens, would take this step as well in order to be knowledgeable on how best to help people without shelters. In the meantime, best practice would be to talk to the person, ask their name, and ask what they need in the moment. If that can be fulfilled, then take that step. It may be as simple as a bottle of water. Other things, of course, would need some time and coordinating. Ask them their story if they're willing to share it, or of how they became homeless, and if there are any family members or friends who can help them. I picked up the street cards that I gave you each, and inside are all kinds of resources. The first page has important phone numbers. Among them, the most important probably is 211. That's first call for help. It's United Way, and they will assess what a person needs. The problem is if a homeless person doesn't have a phone, then whoever finds them, if you can make that phone call for them and let them talk to the person on the other end and have them assess their needs. I would also like to leave some of these street cards so that police have two in their cars, one to keep and one to give if there's a need, and anyone else. And if there's extra, we can leave them at the library or city hall. I'm not sure which would be better. So I've been requesting those. They don't send them out. I had to go pick them up. So I'm willing to do that again, and that's not a problem for me. If there's a mental health crisis, called Mobile Crisis Unit. They're also listed in that booklet. They will come to a location you indicate. I think it would be beneficial for city leaders and first responders to have trauma training made available to them. And when the Northeast Ohio Coalition for the Homeless has street outreach outreach training available, it would be beneficial for police officers at a minimum to attend the training. And if there's a time that you need, I do work full-time, but I will be glad to help out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Robert Goh. I live 5520 Chestnut Street in Menor on the Lake. I'm here representing Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities. I'm the Director of Operations. I'd like to take a few minutes to reintroduce you to Cuyahoga DD and talk about the work that we do. Our mission is to support and empower people with developmental disabilities to live, learn, work, and play in the community.
Sorry,
Your mic's not.
I don't think the microphone's working.
I just need to, check it out with it.
Sure.
Sorry about that.
Oh. Do you need that back?
Yeah.
You want me to tilt it? Yeah. More?
Thanks for your help.
Yeah.
Jim says he could hear it. Tracy, Jim says he could hear him.
He can?
Does that mean is it good for you then or no?
No, but this isn't plugged into the, because it's not.
Oh, I didn't know, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, you're all here.
Right, I got it.
Got it?
You guys going back to Columbus tonight? You about
You want me to
we
move
can
this
talk
back?
tomorrow.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, look forward to working with you guys.
Just tip it up.
If you want to stick around, you can.
There we go.
You want me to move it back over that
No,
spot?
that's fine.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Oh, good.
Thank you, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So I'll just reiterate a little bit here. So my name is Robert Goh. I'm the Director of Operations at Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Our mission is to support and empower people with developmental disabilities to live, learn, work, and play in the community. We support more than 14,000 people with developmental disabilities in Cuyahoga County. Last year, we served 196 people with developmental disabilities in Bedford. 2/3 of our $150 million budget comes from a $3.9 million continuous levy that was last passed by Cuyahoga County voters in 2005. From birth throughout adulthood, we support people with DD to live their best lives. We provide things like early intervention services, therapies like occupational and physical therapy, and speech-language pathology. Consultative services to support students in schools, transition services for young adults, housing and employment supports, and assistive technology services. We are a different agency than we were 5 years ago. At the end of 2019, just before COVID, Cuyahoga DD privatized. Its day program and transportation services that were very visible, tangible ways that people could see us in the community and knew who we were, went away. Since then, we've repositioned the agency as a leader in the state when it comes to supporting people with disabilities to live, learn, work, and play in their communities. Here are a few notable examples. In 2023, we launched a program with Cleveland State University called CSU Rise, which aims to give students with disabilities a typical college experience while ensuring they're supported in ways that will help them to be successful in college and beyond. We're doing innovative work in housing. In 2022, we launched our TriTech Smart Apartments in Lakewood that allows adults with disabilities the opportunity to sign a short-term lease to live with technology and determine what types of technology and adaptive equipment can help them live as independently as they want. Later this year, we will open our first tiny home for people with disabilities, located on the property of a community-based home in Maple Heights. The tiny home will give someone the independence they want with the security of knowing that they can socialize or seek support from provider staff by simply crossing the yard and going to the main house. We invest in communities in new ways. Since 2021, we have granted $700,000 to support 50 community libraries, arts and culture and recreation and leisure organizations in making their programs and physical spaces accessible to people of all abilities. We have over $200,000 allocated for community grants in 2024. In addition to our work supporting people with disabilities in Cuyahoga County, we strive to be a resource for communities. We would welcome the opportunity to talk more about how we can best support the residents in Bedford. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That was the county program, right?
Yes.
Sorry, Mel. My name is Bob Dietrich, 137 Sandal Circle. Councilman Ashbury, I want to appreciate your decision in saying no to the Plan Commission's suggestion that mental health service be denied. It's hypocrisy to consider that would not be good for the city, nor it wasn't any violation of the zoning. The only difference being is there's not as much space in parking. Thank you. All right. And thank you. Again, it's a hypocrisy that we could deny something like that simply because of parking. Next to it is a parking lot large enough for more than enough people, and yet at the same time, our council has decided that it's okay to put a juvenile detention center in an area that's in total violation of that zoning. I will give you an idea. Permitted uses, commercial and industrial, on that. Final on that, to improve the general environment by prohibiting dwellings, institutions, and public facilities in the industrial district, and so by doing it, to make the land more readily available in industry. On that. That includes institutions. We will go by Ohio Revised Code, section 5139.01, Department of Youth Services, that define themselves as an institution, means a state facility that is created by the General Assembly and is under the management and control of the Department of Youth Services for the very purpose that we're speaking of, which is in conflict with institution. It includes a fully accredited high school and middle school. Another one violated in zoning because they were not allowing public, private, or parochial schools. They offer religious services. Not allowed in that area against our zoning. Community service, violation of our zoning. What more could we be saying? Now in this situation, I have to question, is there a statute, because I think Mr. Malice, you referred to a statute that will prevent us from being able to change this. May I ask what that statute is? Spoke of a law or statute, and the last time, it was the last meeting when you informed us that you were going to be reviewing whether or not you were going to accept the Planning Commission's suggestion.
I'm not quite sure on the statute you're referring to.
Statute law, is there a statute or law that's preventing the council?
There's case law, I'm not going to get into debating
I-
law with you, but
Do you know
there
what
is-
the case law
There
was?
is case law that identifies the state being immune to local zoning code.
All right,
Multiple, not just one.
okay. Here's what I'm looking at. Forgive me, someone recently told me I'm not a lawyer, and that's true, but I can read.
Well, it's already been voted on, I don't know what, I mean,
It's already been voted on
yes, and approved.
and approved.
Yes,
So,
sir,
and why was it approved, sir?
because it's appropriate.
Appropriate in an area that's zoning against that? I mean, I don't understand, the zoning that says no institution.
We've been over this many, many times. You've been there many times.
I
asking
have.
the exact same question.
The same
to get
question.
The same answer.
All right.
State is exempt from those zoning
No,
laws.
they are not.
They could have been built there, whether we said
I'll
yes.
read it off to you. Let me find our code here, and let me find our case study. You've upset me enough. I hope you have a moment for me to find that. Can I have your patience? Court opinion is under Brownfield versus State on that. It was a situation in which the city of Akron wanted to block something. The issue ended, but in this case, the court brought something about in regards to the Doan determination. It was something that the people had gone through for a while. Under Doan, they said the right of eminent domain rests upon public necessity and a contract or covenant or plan of allotment which attends to prevent the exercise of that right is clearly against public policy and therefore illegal and void. But on that, it should not be extended to intergovernmental conflicts. Both the municipality's exercise of its zoning and the state's exercise of power of eminent domain are intended to effectuate public purposes. While we agree of the judgment and part of this, we must reject its reasoning and the extension of the rule to Doan. We believe the correct approach would be an insistence to weigh the general public purpose to be served by the exercise of each power and to resolve the impasse in favor of the power that will serve the needs of a greater number of citizens. Now, the appellate presumed that the power of condemnation, or basically their power of eminent domain, made them immune, absolute immunity, but that does not apply when it comes to a different public facility, or, as I said, a city. It does not justify the invocation of absolute immunity in all cases. Unless there exists, well, that isn't even pertinent. Where it really comes to, if the state cannot comply to our zoning, and it obviously can't. We say we can't have an institution, they want an institution. It's not like we have to make it one floor, and as far as the number of people involved, that was already determined by the governor when the governor put in the juvenile justice report to review exactly what that department has been doing for the last 20 years. In that, he specifically said only 36 people per location, or forgive me, per facility. As I recall, on that, the city was just about to okay 100. But as you described, Mayor, you stopped that because they turned around and wanted to have unlimited, correct? On that. So they did not do us a favor by bringing it down to 36. They were obliged by the governor to do so. In that.
One point, eminent domain wasn't part of this.
What?
We did not do it.
Yeah, but I could argue the legalities here. If you feel you have some points you want to make.
This is the legality.
Oh, it's
on
at
that,
this point.
why do we have zoning? Why don't, I mean, it's a waste of
Allow
paper.
planning to make the proper decision.
What decision are you making? Are you deciding that the city or the state can basically bulldoze us because we say something like, they don't have immunity? Here is where it comes to a point. I'm not reading something myself. This is coming from the court hearing on that. The issue of government immunity of zoning arises only after efforts to comply with municipal zonings have failed. In other words, they can't they can't make a different institution on that. Where compliance with zoning and regulations should frustrate or significantly hinder the public purpose underlying the acquisition of property, a court should consider the essential nature of the government-owned facility, the impact of the facility upon the surrounding property, and most importantly, the alternative locations available for this facility in determining where the proposed use should be. The governor had decided, and the had accepted. I'm sorry, sir, I'm not finished.
Well, you don't know what the governor's decided. It's a hearsay what you're saying.
No, it's not. It's called juvenile justice. Look it up. They went and did they had a council went through a full review of that. That's why it's 36 people, because the governor's decision was that having 771 building was not acceptable. It had to be 36. That's why we have 2 facilities with 36. They aren't doing us a favor. The governor told them so. That's why they came and made the change on that.
You see the industrial uses going down there? in the last 50
Well-
years? Have you seen one?
No, I haven't, but has anyone in the economic development department looked for it?
Absolutely.
I was in touch with Gamley, Gamley Group. I asked them if they wanted to buy it. They didn't know it was there. They have a headquarters in Brooklyn, in Broadview Heights, that they rent their thing from. One of the strongest growing car dealerships in the state of Ohio. It is the largest growing. They don't have a headquarters. They use one or they rent one, and we've got a building here.
For a
Did
car
anybody
dealership?
call them?
For a car
Except
dealership?
me. Yes, for a car dealer, for their headquarters.
It's been out there, it's been for sale for years. so
Yeah, and
If they don't-
it was bought out by the present owners in 2020. The proposal from the state came in 2022. Now, prior to that, it was a pick and pay headquarters. At one point, the value was at $7 million.
That's not where this is at.
Sorry. Excuse me, sir?
That's not where this is at. This is the US Bank building.
Yes, I know, that's what I'm talking about. Before it was the pick and pay headquarters.
How did that get in there?
No,
That's not.
Pick and Pay was across the street.
That's where it was from. It was under Finest Food on that. They sold it on that. Finest sold out in all the state of Ohio. US Bank bought it. US Bank was, they closed their mortgage services. That's why they left. Someone else bought it for, what, $4 million, couldn't sell it, and then they sent it to the more, I think it's Premium?
I'm not sure.
All right. That residential company owned it for 2 years and sold it, wanted to sell it for the state. But the point here is in violation of the zoning. Why do we have laws if we're going to let them run it over?
Because the city only exists, how's it go? We are an instrument of the state, and at any second, they could tell us we no longer exist. So that's why they have.
That's not true, sir.
It is.
I'm
true,
looking
absolutely.
at the
We've
law
been
here.
debating this for decades. This is not a subject appropriate for tonight.
What is it appropriate for? I'm sorry, does anyone
It's not on the
somewhere else
agenda.
we should have this discussion?
Well, I think everybody wants to go home.
Does anyone else want to hear any more of this? Hands up for me to stop talking, please. I know you.
But does
Anybody
anybody
hands
else
up that you don't
want?
want to?
You said anyone.
Yeah.
You said anyone.
Does anybody want to hear any more about this?
Mr. Dietrich, you have beat this to death. You've been over it. We've given you more than enough time than we've given anybody to speak your mind.
As I understand, as was pointed out by another council person, the rule in the group is there is no limit amount of time or for any reason a citizen of Bedford can speak here.
I believe
There is.
Yeah.
According to
there's
state
not.
law, if you want to look that up.
No, it's not
We
the
don't
state
even have to
law. Our
open
prior
up.
council person here, whose name I forget,
Mr.
Wally, pointed it out in a meeting I was sitting in at. He pointed it out when Mr. Fluharty suggested the idea that they should limit the amount of time a person in Bedford can talk about and what subject, and it could only be pertaining with that. That was the discussion.
And we didn't.
On that? No, you
It's
didn't.
up to the
We didn't.
discretion of the mayor. The mayor has discretion
For what?
to shut someone down if it's appropriate.
What is inappropriate about what I'm saying?
Just that we've been over it, how many times you've stood there, how many days,
How
you
many-
said the exact
how-
same thing.
yes.
And you got the exact same answers.
The question
And
there
now
is,
we approved it, it's there.
the question there is, why hasn't anyone looked at anything else?
We
We
understand
did all due diligence, and do you think for 1 second
that. Like if it,
that this council would agree to something that is detrimental to the city? This is gonna be a positive for the city and
How, sir? How will it possibly?
income. We're gonna get substantial money out of this.
How?
How? It's called taxes.
Taxes on,
Payroll taxes
Taxes.
on
no real estate taxes, correct? Since it's a state facility, there won't be no real estate
construction
taxes.
taxes, when they do that, there's permits.
All right, and sir,
We're
when
gonna
the
look at-
state moves out and there's 2 prisons there, do you think anyone else is going to come?
They've been in their old facility for 50 years, so we don't expect to.
When when they move out of that facility, if it's not torn down, it's never going to be used. That's the fact.
And then deal
only
with it
gain
at that
here-
time. We'll deal with it at that time.
all right, that's enough.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's enough. We're not getting anywhere.
I'm glad you let me know it's enough.
Yes, it is.
notice when I was there on Friday. I'll be talking to them again.
Good, Toby said aye.
My name is Sabrina Future, 15 Charles Street, Bedford. Whew. I'm glad I came today. Pink is my favorite color, and I didn't think about breast cancer, but I hate cancer. And I thank everybody who has been up here talking about what you do, disability, homeless, just everything. It has really blessed my heart. I have a couple of questions. Again, I think I asked this before, Mike, and I didn't get an answer. Right on Northfield, next to the Owls Tech place, there's a business. I see cars coming and going, and they don't have a sign on the building. Don't know what's going on. What is that business?
It's a private individual under a business that purchased, it's for private use.
It's a private
I mean, he
use?
bought a commercial building, but it's.
But to do what? We should know about to do what?
He bought the building. I mean, there's not a.
I mean, people have to get permits, homes have to get permits, but I just want to know what are they doing there?
There's not a business being run out of there. They submitted all the permits for all the work, everything was done according to code.
So if it's a permit, I mean, just what's the name of the business?
It's not a business. It's not a business. It would be like.
It's not residential.
If you bought a commercial building down the street and said, you know what, I'm gonna use it because I need an extra garage. And if you did everything like the code, it's not the city's, we can't say, what are you doing in there? I wanna see,
Really?
There's nothing inappropriate going on. An individual bought a building. If it's storage, how they wish to use it, they're not operating a business that violates the code.
It's interesting.
We'll keep ours open. Thank you for that.
It's just interesting. I mean, I didn't know that people could have a building and you not know what's going on, even if it's commercial.
I mean,
That's fine. I mean, I learned something here, so, okay.
we know what's going on.
You know, but I live there. I want to know.
Storage.
Storing what? Okay, cars. That's what I see coming in and out, but I just need to know what kind of business. You guys
It's not a
live.
business. Just to clarify, it is not a business.
It's okay, you say it's not a business, but it's not residential, so I look at it as a
commercial
business.
building that someone purchased.
Interesting, okay. I just want to know, will our police be taking that trauma training that she was speaking of?
We're gonna discuss it, we got a brand new chief, and they get all kinds of training, I mean, they might even be doing stuff in that already.
Okay.
Well, I'm not gonna just sit here and say, yes, they're doing it, but
No, I'm
they
just
might
saying,
already be doing it.
I'm hoping that would be part of the
Yeah.
planning, because that is a serious issue.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, we got a new chief, and I'm sure that would be right up his alley to look into that, so.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, we're gonna, no, this is a good thing.
it is.
It's a good thing.
It is, thank you. The last one, I heard they talk about demolishing one building. What's the latest status on the veterinarian building?
That individual and all of the people included on the lien or the title search were notified. I believe we received one quote, but we're obligated to receive additional if we have to come forward to council to ask for that expenditure.
Okay, so do we have?
Because it looks like, it's hard to say. What's concerning from our standpoint is if our staff are unable to secure outside funds, it's gonna be a substantial amount of money that we're gonna have to basically put up front to take down. So that's why we may be forced to look, the goal was for the city not have to take it down. And we were looking for cooperation from the property owner, who's since pulled back on that. And if he's not gonna move forward, and if he chooses to throw up the hands and walk away.
He's done that.
And we have to tear it down. That little Padala building is about, to properly regrade it and everything, you're almost approaching, I think it was $25,000. That one, the first quote is well over $60,000 to tear it down. The building's large.
I know.
So what I would like to do is, if ultimately the city's gonna have to do that, and I agree, I think it should come down, I would like to exhaust all efforts that we can to secure some grant dollars or some assistance from the land bank or someone else to help offset those costs.
So,
Because once it's taken down, that's an example of, given the size of that building, if let's say we're out $70,000, we'll never recoup we'll never get our money back. It's one thing when you tear a house down for $8,000, and ultimately if that parcel goes through a sale or a tax foreclosure, whatever that, or resold, we'll recoup, because we're gonna be first on the list to be assessed, to pay us back from the assessment. On something like this, that property is not, let's say that building's gone, and we assess it for $60,000, $70,000 on what we had to put up front to tear down, it'll never sell for $70,000, an empty lot. So we're basically gonna have to agree, we're gonna just spend that money. I'm not saying we won't get there, but as of right now, we need to look to see if we could secure some outside funding, even if it's half.
so who's doing that? Because I hear about grants being given, but has someone specifically targeted that property to go see what grants are available so we can get the ball rolling?
Yeah.
Because I literally saw 2 teenagers getting ready to go into that building. And I stopped them and asked them to please don't go over
We
there.
can't go after funds unless you identify a specific property.
So basically,
We've earmarked that property. Now, there's one funding source that they won't fund it because we're not the owner. So they've already told us no, but there's a couple of other avenues that we're looking at.
so until then, we need to secure the building. I mean, what's wrong with this should be a safety thing. There's open windows, open doors. If we're not gonna tear it down, at least make it not such a bad eyesore where it's just deteriorating and falling down. And it's easy access for homeless, for kids. I mean, come on, we're talking about bringing in a detention center for the youth, but yet and still we can't even secure a building that the youth were going in. I'm having a problem with that. Seriously. But some of this stuff can be prevention. And I did hear once, all money's not good money. So let's think about some of this money. We're talking about money. All money is not good money. That's what I tell my kids. And if we have an empty building and we can't even secure it to make sure our youth get in there and hurt themselves, I don't want to happen what happened in 4th District when they found that young girl in that vacant home right by the police district. That's all I keep thinking about. And then when I seen those 2 teenagers getting ready to go in there, I police my community. I'm out there. What I mean by that, I love my neighbors. I find out what's going on. And I'm having a big problem with this. And Mr. Flahurry, if you can please do some extra work about it, because I'm getting really agitated, because it's not just an eyesore, it's a safety hazard. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're the council person in the district. What do you
I
mean?
ain't the building inspector.
You haven't even been around, because if you had, you saw the trash.
First of all, it's all boarded up, so I don't know what
It
you're
is
talking
not
about.
all boarded up.
Last time I drove by, it was all boarded up.
Go into the back of the alley.
Kathy Williams, 491 Lamson. We were talking about speeders. Lamson, even though it's a red brick street, is becoming to the point where we're yelling, slow down. If there is some way possible, if you can ask the school board to have their bus drivers slow down. We have 4 buses that go up Lamson. They don't pick up children. They use it as a cut-through, and they fly. I don't know if they're late for some reason or whatever, I don't know. To the point where I can't get the bus number, they're flying.
So if you could please let them know. Also, put a little more salt in the wound. With the facility, the people that were sitting here that you let go home, whatever, there were people sitting that work there. And I think if Ms. Powell would have been able to get up and speak and let them know what goes on there. She's in the facilities. I think that would have helped with a lot of fear and maybe would have explained some things, but they left. When they had the meeting, I know the question was asked of what other municipalities were looked at in Cuyahoga County. Were you ever given that information?
Yes. I'm aware, if you want me to share it with you
Yes,
afterwards, I
please.
can give you the cities.
I mean, I know it's a done deal, so.
Yeah, I could, I think there were 3 or 4. I don't have these specific addresses.
No, just
Because there were
municipalities.
specific addresses in 4 communities. I want to say there were 6 specific sites and that the state looked at, us obviously being one of them.
Mhm.
And then they went through and, obviously some were better for this reason, that reason, and they did a score, they scored it. And, I didn't see any of that, right? I'm not privy to that information, but I do remember the cities. I don't remember the exact addresses except 2 of them.
Can you give me
I
like,
can share, yeah,
oh,
I can share it after if you'd like. For one of them, the one I can share, I mean, it's already gonna be it's also gonna be a jail, a county juvenile facility, the Juvenile Justice Center. That was one of the other locations in Garfield Heights on Transportation Boulevard. That is one of the locations that this organization looked at. Obviously, Cuyahoga County acquired that, and they're making that the entire Juvenile Justice Center. There were multiple locations in Cleveland. There was a location in, I believe, Strongsville. I don't know those exact. I knew the Transportation Boulevard. The other ones, the addresses don't ring a bell that I can remember.
okay, if you remember, let me know. Thank you.
Those were the cities, though. Garfield, Cleveland, Bedford. I'm pretty sure Strongsville.
Okay.
I think that's the 4.
Anyone else? Seeing none, you have a motion for adjournment by Longino, second by Asbury. Call the roll, please.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Longino?
Yes.
Cochi?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Salvi?
Yes.